Hello everyone. Thank you so much for coming back to see Lottie and me. We're very happy to have you here. It's Sunday afternoon at about 3 o'clock, and if I tell you I'm melting again, you'll probably be so sick of hearing it, but I am melting. It's so humid. It's a very grey day, and the temperature isn't high, but the humidity is about 80%. And I tell you, every time I move, I am melting. If I sit perfectly still under a fan, I'm okay. But to get Lottie set up, I think I've probably lost 20 kilos in perspiration. I'm so hot. But it was worth it, because look at this little girl. Isn't she gorgeous? I actually was looking through her things because I'm going to take her to the first doll club meeting of the year next Saturday, so just under a week from now. And I've been trying to think, what would I like to dress her in, because I want to make her look as beautiful as possible for everyone who's seeing her. I think she's beautiful in whatever she's wearing, whether it's her underwear or this beautiful little white dress. To me she's just gorgeous. But when you're trying to convince people who don't like these babies how gorgeous they really are, I want to try and pick something that everybody will like. So I want to pick something that will show her legs and her arms. So probably I will choose a romper, seeing as they're my most favourite things. And it is very hot, so that would be weather appropriate, wouldn't it? But when I was going through her things, I remembered this little dress and thought, well, it is Sunday, so she can wear her Sunday's best dress for today. And it's a special, very special dress that I bought, I think, a couple of years ago. It was on super sale. I'd been watching it, and it came down to half price, and it was the only one in this size. So it was a bit of a risk, but I thought, well, it doesn't matter. I don't even have a doll who could wear it. So I left it, and then I went back another time, and it was reduced again. So at that point, I just grabbed it. It's actually made by, I don't know if you know this name, but she's an Australian dress designer called Colette Dinnigan. She does sell overseas, so you may have heard of her. But for a little while she was doing baby clothes and children's clothes. I don't think she's doing that anymore, although she might be, and I just don't see them. I bought this dress in a department store, and they don't carry Colette Dinnigan anymore, it's why I'm thinking maybe she doesn't design them anymore. But I was lucky and I got this one. It's a very fine white cotton, and with puff sleeves and a big Peter Pan collar. They both have some fine lace around the edge. It's got rows of lace coming down in the front, and 3 little pearly looking buttons. They're not really pearly, they're just plastic buttons down the front. And then at the bodice it has some lace with some white ribbon threaded through it as well. There are matching bloomers, and it just buttons at the back. But it's so cute. But I think because it's actually quite long and her feet only just stick out the bottom, I think I'd be better off putting on a romper or bloomers and a top for her when I take her to the club, because you don't see all that much of her in this little dress. It's a 0 to 3 month size, so it fits her beautifully. It's just the style is longer. It's obviously not as long as the baptismal dress that I introduced her to you in, because that was very long, wasn't it? That was right to the end of the pram, and even over the end of the pram, I think. So that's what I decided to put her in today to show you. And I'll go hunting through my other things when I decide what she's going to wear for Saturday. But I'm pretty sure it'll be a romper, and I'll definitely show you what I've chosen either before or after Saturday. And I'll tell you about how it goes. But we all know how it's going to go, don't we, girls and boys? It's going to be some people who love her and some people who can't bear to even look at her. I'll do a little talk again as well, and just say how she's come to be in my collection and my very own doll. So I'll talk about that too, and I'll talk again about the different types of collectors, and that we're not all freaks. We're normal people who collect dolls just like them. But I don't think I'll ever convince the people who don't like them. Until they would actually hold one and perhaps buy one themselves, they wouldn't be convinced. And even then, I think they wouldn't dare buy one. I think they're just a bit scared of them and think we're all nuts for collecting them. But we know we're not. We love these babies. Simple, plain and simple, isn't it? They're so lovable, so sweet. Anyway, so now I've forgotten what I was saying. Just that this is her Sunday's best dress to show you, that I thought you might like to have a look at. And I know what else I can tell you. I've got a book that I've had since I was a very little girl. My grandmother gave it to me, and it really is a very significant book for me because it's about a little girl and her doll. And I don't know how I felt before the book, because you never know what comes first, really, the chicken or the egg. But after this book, I always wanted to have my own little doll that I could fit in a pocket and take with me everywhere. So take her to school, like she could be my school bag and things like that. So this book really connected me with dolls, but I have a feeling that I always was, from a very young age, always was connected to dolls. So I'll just show you this book. It's very, very special, very old. And at some stage I've actually covered it in plastic. I don't know when on earth I did that. So I'll just show you the cover. It's catching the light a bit, isn't it? There we go. There it is, Elizabeth and Her Doll Susan, by Lily Mosheim, with pictures by Audrey Walker. Isn't that cute? That's what it looks like. You have to excuse all the foxing on it, which is all those brown patches, because it is a very old book. Let me have a look exactly how old it is. I think it was... I'll show you where my grandmother wrote in it too. That's in the very front. It's lovely. I don't know what she wrote because she wrote it in Hungarian and I don't read Hungarian. I know the first word is, I think it's Zsuzsinkám, which, because my name is Zsuzsi, that means sort of little Susan in Hungarian, but I don't know what all the rest says. And then you can see how clever I've been. I've written my name sort of a combination between Suzanne and Susan, because I used to be called Susan when I was little. Anyway, so that's me writing my name. Now let me just see if it tells us when this book was published. I think I was probably about 6, because I remember reading it to the teacher. She's actually put stamps in it. I'm just moving slightly away from the camera so I can turn the page and find out. Oh, here it is. It says, I'll show you, it says at the bottom there, Constable and Company Limited, London, copyright 1959 by Lily Mosheim, lithographed in Great Britain. So this was obviously printed in Great Britain. So 1959, I would have been 6 then. And it's a very sweet story. You probably don't want to hear it because it's very, very simple, very basic. But I'll show you some of the pictures. And then I can show you, there it is, that's the first page. I'd like to show you, oh, you can even see slightly on this page where I got a stamp from the teacher. Just next to the word town. Can you see a faint pink outline of a bird? I know it's a bird, but maybe you can't tell it's a bird. But there is a very faint pink outline where I got a stamp for reading that page correctly. Let me find you another page. Such sweet pictures, and this absolutely captured me completely. There's Elizabeth with her pram. Just like my pram, but a bit smaller, isn't it? And let me see, is there a stamp? No, you can't see a stamp on this page. I think each page used to have a stamp on it, but they've just faded away over time. It's been a long, long time. Let's see what this one's got on it. I'll show you this sweet picture. There she is. There's Elizabeth holding her doll Susan in front of their dollhouse. There's no stamp on this page. But maybe the next page has got another stamp. I'd love you to be able to see it, because I'm so proud I got those stamps for reading each page. No, let me see. No, but there's Elizabeth getting ready for the day, having a wash before she gets dressed. Very cute. Maybe the next page. I know that one of these pages has got a stamp, two stamps on it, one on either side. Might be this next one. Well, this is a cute page, but there's no stamp. That's where Susan sleeps in that little rocking bed, and there's Elizabeth playing with her, saying good morning, time to get up. Well, let's see the next page. I'm determined to show you these stamps. Oh yes, this one's got a bit of a stamp on this side where I read the words. Can you see just up there? It's a sort of half upside down, and the page says, when Susan is dressed, she and Elizabeth have a good breakfast. And there they are. Look at Susan. That's what I always loved, little miniature things like that, and I wanted a little doll to carry with me all the time. So yes, I think I loved dolls before then. I'm sure I did. This is Elizabeth carrying Susan out to the garden, have a swing on the tree. Aren't the pictures sweet? I love this one. Look at this one with the pram. Isn't that gorgeous? I love it. There's only a couple more pages I'll just quickly show you. So I thought you might like to see that, and so I could tell you how early I've been loving dolls for and wanting to have a doll with me all the time. There they are on the swing. So I wonder what your first conscious sort of memories are of wanting a doll. I think I always wanted a doll, always, and this really made it just exactly showed me what I wanted. Look at that one, isn't that gorgeous? They're reading the book together. So cute. And it's funny because one of my best friends at primary school was called Elizabeth, and that's kind of the reverse of this story, because in this story I would have liked to be the little girl called Susan, and the doll could have been called Elizabeth. But there they are, washing the dishes together. And that's just about the end of the story, is it? Oh no, now they're going to have a little play on the chair. Playing that horsey game where you ride your children on your leg and go faster and faster and bump them off, I think, don't you? And then she's playing with all her toys. Then her mother calls bedtime. There they are. So the colours are very basic, aren't they? They didn't print with a lot of colours in this book. So here's Elizabeth tidying up, putting everybody away where they belong. There we go, with a top and some books and an elephant and I think Raggedy Ann and Raggedy Andy maybe. Or maybe not. No, I think the back one's a gollywog and the front one's a little doll. Don't know if you're allowed to say gollywog. For a while we weren't allowed to. They were all gollywog books and toys were banned, weren't they? So I don't know what's allowed at the moment. But there's the mother saying good night to Elizabeth, and she's got Susan in Susan's little bed next to her. Sorry, it's moving around a bit. So that's the end of the story. There we go. So I hope you liked seeing that book, which is, look, I'll show you the back. It's pretty raggedy as well. Look at that. What a mess. Thank goodness I covered it in plastic at some stage. That would have saved it a fair bit. So that's a very old book, and it just always reminds me about how much I've loved dolls and for how long. So it's no wonder I'm a demented collector, is it? And even collecting dolls that look like babies and loving their clothes. Because to have this, I bought this dress so long ago, the one that Lottie's wearing at the moment, because I love the clothes as much as I love the dolls. So I'm a collector of baby clothes as well, which I know a lot of us are, aren't we? We sort of need whole new houses to fit everything in, but we get a handle on it somehow, don't we? Sell things before we buy more. I hope that let me tell you about the rattle. I put a special rattle into Lottie's hand. I might take it out and show you close up because it's really gorgeous. I do collect rattles. So I have vintage and antique rattles. I have plastic rattles from the 50s. I have this kind of rattle which is a silver rattle with some fine, what do you call that? Would you call that engraving, or some sort of pattern on the handle? And then it joins onto I guess this part's the teething ring of mother of pearl, and then it's got a little, let me just show you that bell that rattles. So that's it. It's the same on both sides, and it's just the perfect size for a little baby's hand to hold. It wouldn't be any good these days, would it? You can just imagine the choking hazard of the little bell, and maybe even the mother of pearl would come off, I don't know. Anyway, it was fine back in the day, wasn't it? Excuse me, another throat clearing. Sorry about that. So I decided to put that into Lottie's hand, seeing as that she's specially dressed up to show you today for her Sunday's best. She may as well hold a beautiful antique rattle. So I have got other rattles, and I think I may have shown you my rattle collection at some point. I think I might have. Can't really remember. I could go back, couldn't I, back over my videos. But from time to time I'll show you them. I don't want to bore you with the whole collection. I'll just show you them every now and again. Because yes, I do remember I did show you once before, because I remember showing you the teeny weeny ones. I've got a couple of similar to this, but they're very small, made just for dolls, and I treasure those because I was just lucky to find them, and they all came from eBay back before postage was so ridiculously expensive, before postage was more expensive than the item itself, so it was still possible to buy things from overseas. Now it's really not. It's just not ever worth my while. It's because I just can't bear to pay more for postage than I'm paying for the item. It just seems ridiculous. So, yeah, I don't. I tend not to anyway, unless I'm desperately, desperately in need of something, then I might. Yeah, so there you are. There's my little girl in her beautiful outfit. Just looking at something. We're in the kitchen again, so she's probably just looking at the kitchen cupboard or something very boring like that, but she doesn't seem to mind, does she? Did I tell you that she's got matching bloomers as well under her dress? I don't know if I did. Let me just show you there. They are, and they haven't got any lace on them. They've just got like a little self frill around the leg opening. Very cute though, but in the same fabric, so they're part of the set. I was very happy to buy that, and I'm very happy to show it to you. So thank you very much for joining me, and if you have any great memories of when you started to consciously love dolls, I'd love to hear them. It'd be really interesting, because mine ties in with that book. Like, I clearly remember wishing I had a little doll just like that one to take with me wherever I went, and I wonder if any of you have some sort of memories like that. Anyway, maybe you have, and you could tell me. So thank you very much, everyone, for coming back to my kitchen. It's been lovely to see you, and I hope you're not melting like I am, because it's really gross. You wouldn't want to be this hot. It's horrible. I know you probably can't imagine that, because I can't imagine being freezing, freezing cold. I think I would love it right now. I feel like hopping into my fridge. There's a bit too much food in there to fit me, but it'd be lovely in there, I think. Anyway, you're probably, all you guys would have to do is step out your front door and you'd be in a fridge, wouldn't you? Half your luck. Anyway, thank you very much for coming along to visit Lottie and me in my kitchen. And I'll see you again soon. So bye bye everyone, take care and be kind to each other. Bye bye.